do this by focusing on our core value system, which is the acronym HEAL. That stands for Holistic Health, Mind, Body, and Spirit. E stands for Economic and Entrepreneurship. A stands for Academic Success. And L stands for Leader Development. So what our goal is to do is to make sure they are academically, socially, and emotionally sound individuals.
Kingdom Kids has made a big impact on all three of my children. I have a 5-year-old that's reading very well, can express his emotions. Which is really big. I have an 11-year-old who was having problems with ADHD, focusing in the traditional school, and now he's here. We appreciate the one-on-one Miss Tanisha has for our children.
At Kingdom Kids Empowerment Academy, we don't just teach. Our goal is to build future leaders.
Hi, I am Zoe, and I am a graduate from Kingdom Kids. I enjoyed and loved the program so much to the point where I come back on my free time and volunteer.
We believe every child is born with greatness. We believe every kid has a quirk. At Kingdom Kids, our goal is to empower them to soar and reach it.
If you're ever looking for a place that your child can be wholesome, your child can be who they are, and the teacher can meet them where they are, I truly would say Kingdom Kids Empowerment Academy.
At Kingdom Kids Empowerment Academy, we're looking for families like you. Will you join us? Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Break Free with T. Marie. I'm your girl, T. Marie, your edupreneur, your goal setter, your goal getter. I am here today. I have a guest. Yes, today I have a guest in the building. But we are here to talk about some real stuff. As usual, we're always going to give you some tea bags to drop into your entrepreneurial tea. But today we're going to talk about something that I think is real life currency, and that's integrity in business. So before we get started, before we go any further, without further ado, let me explain to y'all who I got in the building today. My first guest, Miss Monifa Angle. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I'm so happy. Let me tell you why I'm happy. She did my first photo shoot. I never wanted to give it in front of a camera. She is a creative. She is an entrepreneur. She is really the person who set my year off this year by inviting me to one of her events. A brunch. It was a brunch.
Mm-hmm.
I went to her brunch at the beginning of the year. We was all dressed in money green. And when I say I was in a room full of powerful womenpreneurs, and at that time I was just kind of in the minutia of doing business, right? I wasn't there at the top and feeling inspired. I went to that thing full of people, full of women, and we just got to moving and shaking. And after that, I watched my business just kind of pick up. So of course, when I said it's time for me to stop running my mouth alone and bring somebody else on the show, the first person that popped in mind was my girl. She is my branding artisan. Tell us a little something about yourself, girl.
Hey, y'all. I am Monifa. I go by Mo. I'm a brand strategist. I do marketing. I do brand photography. And I've been in business for 5 years now. And I help people build their brand God's way. So that's just a short version of who I am.
I love it. We have been doing great business. She has been very integral and has shown nothing but integrity, down to one little thing you did, and I don't think you even realized it. And I said, wow, that's deep. She did a photo shoot for, I think, my daughter. No, she did a website for me. Yeah, she does website. She did a website for me, and I said, did you post it? You want to post it? And she said one thing that I thought was so phenomenal. She said, I'm gonna let you do that first. We don't think of things like that. Like, we don't have that level of intense integrity anymore in business where you just do things the right way, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Integrity in business, but more importantly, being a God's woman and doing business the integrity way. Monifa, tell me what you think integrity is when it comes down to business and doing God's work.
To me, I think it's straight up honesty. Because that comes in with everything. Character, like what type of person you are. So when I think of integrity, I just think of you being honest, point blank period, and truthful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I have, as always, I have my notes. And this is my first time doing an actual interview because, I'll be in here running my mouth, right? So I'm going to kind of just go back to my notes to make sure that I stay in line. And so I already asked her what is integrity, but let's ask this question. what does it look like for women in business? So it says, what does integrity in business mean to you? You just said that. Have you ever had to make a decision where your values and your money clash?
Yeah, I deal with that often because we have to discern when doing business. I think a lot of people look at a dollar sign and they'll sell their soul for it. So it's just like, nah, you got to actually ask God, is this what you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? Is this what you called me to do? Because a dollar sign, it'll blind you.
Right.
So it's just like, I think you really have to pray before just putting yourself in things when it comes to business. And it happens often, but it's just like, am I going to stand on my value and morals, or am I going to let money shift me?
Tell me a time that's happened. Has it ever happened to you this, up until, how long you been doing business? Like independently?
About 5 years.
So has that in this 5 years?
Yeah, I've had people to give me like 5-figure deals type thing, or a good amount of money type thing. And it's just like, nah, that don't align with where God has called me. And I think we overlook things, and that's when we get out of the wheel.
So how do you go back? Like, okay, so a lot of us, we know in business, it's important to kind of step back before you sign off on any deal, right? And so what is your process? Do you say, hold up, give me a minute, let me pray on it? Like, how do you come up with that discernment process before you come back and say yes or no and move forward or kill the deal?
I'm quick to say, let me check with my team. We'll give you 24 to 48 hours.
That's a good one.
God is my team, okay? So let me go talk to him real quick. Yeah. But that's literally the thing. And I really have to pray. And we have to really be okay with the answer that he gives us.
Ooh,
and I don't think that's why we consult with him, because we want what we want and not what he wants for us.
That's a fact. Listen, my new one, Kev was laughing at me because I always say, I'm going to pray on it. And a lot of times what I've noticed is when I say I'm going to pray on it, people they be like, don't even worry about it. Because they knew they was coming at me with some crap. It's almost like my stopgap. Like,
so, me, that scares me. You don't pray?
I'm going to pray about it.
Well, thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord. And you stopped it at the door. But I will tell you that for me, a personal experience, last year, somebody gave me, it wasn't even a whole lot of money, but at the time I was so desperate. They put $7,000 in my pocket. Oh, I thought, oh man, that's a lot of money. Because they kept saying it was a lot of money. And what I didn't realize is legitimately I sold my soul and my business to the devil. Thank goodness God gave me the opportunity and made me be firm in my convictions at a point where I was able to say, you can have all of this money back. Now, they couldn't because it was a gift. And I had receipts. So I was like, you ain't getting nothing back. But the point was, I literally took the money, moved into a new facility with them in there, and they were instantly trying to act like they owned my business and me. Try to put me in the front of my business and make me be like the secretary. They literally told me to take God out of everything I did. Every single thing I did. And it came to, that was in September. By December, I had enough. And I told them, you have got to go. And the minute I did that, God, the door just started opening. I went to your event. 2 months later, I got the school building. And it was because I literally said, God, I will never do this. Rededicating my business back to God. Me, my mom, and my prayer sister, we went in there with oil and anointed that place. And next thing you know, I said, God, I give this back to you. And things started opening back up. So you can't tell me that integrity in God does not line up with business. So,
but you know what? A lot of times I think that we don't consult with him. I don't think we fully trust that if we see 7,000, we don't think he can give us 14,000. We don't think he can give us 20,000. So I think that we're doing that because we say we trust him, but we really don't. That's and when he takes something away, he's gonna double it. Or when he replaces, he adds more.
What you say? He's a God.
That's Ephesians 3:20, baby.
Oh, he's a God of multiplication. And we don't.
But I don't think we trust that he's really gonna do that. Like, God, I had this presented to me right now. You mean to tell me that you're gonna come through with something? Mm-hmm. Like that was better than this, like and to us, like we look at things, but because we be in survival mode, it looked like a lot to us.
That's what it was.
It looked like a lot to us.
I literally was danging on survival, and I'm like, and then we like to kind of mask it like it is God. Oh God, that must be you to drop that money out the ceiling. But to your point, what's 7,000? When a guy that has a house with many mansions, what am I doing here? Like that's not that we missing a few zeros if that's the case. But to your point, we don't trust enough. We don't trust enough because of the place that we're in at that time. But seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all of the riches, right? I just in that moment, and it was a lesson. I mean, at the end of the day, all of it becomes a lesson. And so I don't discount it, but I'm glad that I was able to, or that God kept me long enough so that I didn't lose everything. Because it all came out in the wash when they finally said we could take everything.
But I'm thankful for all of that stuff because I feel like it shows us too as well. Like, hey, this is a growing place. Because what we have done if it was a million? You know what I'm saying?
Which
So
says something strange for a piece of change.
No, but I don't think it's bad because sometimes, like, I done been in places think I was further than where I was, and I'm like, God, maybe that wasn't you. Like, it really, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't.
It wasn't. And that's a little scary to think though.
But that's part of integrity, though. You building us.
And you learn. So when you know better, you really do better. And it teaches you to lean just a little further. And that's kind of where I was, like where I thought I was hanging on a string. It's so funny where after that was done and I was left with nothing, right? All over again, back at zero, I felt like I was the firmest that I had ever been. I felt like I literally was standing on steady ground versus on rocky water. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because I'm like, wow, in this instance, less is actually more. Because now I'm here with him and with him alone. And so, you know how you feel like you're out there in that wilderness, but you're never alone. And I think that's what integrity is as well. Like you're looking around and no one is there but you and God. But you're not. So that means you're not alone. You feel like it, but you're not. My kids used to have this poster hanging up in their room when they were younger. And I always would tell them, look at that poster. And it says integrity is doing the right thing even when no one's watching. And so I think it spooked them. Because I was like, look at that. Like, when I'm not here, you better be. But that's exactly what it is. Because, I mean, but at the end of the day, I think if I go back, someone is watching. And my obedience is to him. That's what my job is. And so we also have to realize that these businesses are gifts. Right? So how do you feel about that? Do you feel that God gave you these businesses? And do you feel like, because you're blowing up. You're blowing up right now. You're about to have this CEO. Tell us about that.
So I'm all about women empowerment. So, you know, like I said, God gives me everything concerning my business moves. So he told me that I would be pretty much the connecting piece to help level people up. But of course, like you said, doing it with integrity and doing it God's way and how he's called us. And so I for sure think that this is a gift. I actually didn't even start this branding company until I was doing ministry with my church and I started doing graphics and stuff. I didn't even really know what was in me, but I was just being obedient and being a vessel and servant. So along that time, like my first lady, it didn't matter if she had to run on the stage and go sing. She would take that time with me to be like, I was like, I don't know how to do this. And she would show me everything. But as she was doing that, I was perfecting my craft.
Wow.
So I give them credit all the time. Like, dang, if I would have been out of place, I may never have even knew I had this gift.
Wow.
But because I was serving, that's how your gifts make room for you.
Ooh.
And so, and it, like I said, it didn't matter if she had something to do. She'll show me. She'll still do it right now. Be like, girl, can you show me a shortcut to get this on this computer? And she'll do it every time.
Wow.
So it's just like, I gotta give credit to God and the people he has placed, like my first lady and other people that has been around me. And it's been real dope. So I think this is definitely a gift from God, but I didn't even know that this is where I would be. But I know that because it was birthed from ministry, this is ministry for me to other people.
I think watching you flow in that event and how you move in and of itself it shows integrity, right? Because when I was at that event, it was never about you. It was really about, we had to pull you out and say, come on, tell the people. And it was something about your humility that allowed God to pour into you that I really respected. And no disrespect, but you're young. So the sky is really the limit for you because of where God is taking you, but you're listening, which is why I thought you would be perfect for this particular show, because I know it's things that come at you. I know it's not always the most integrity filled men and women, in business and in the ministry. And so to be able to still flow and still grow, I know that God has his hands on your business.
Yeah, and even with that, like, that's always been my goal. Like, I don't want to be seen like I'm truly a vessel. So it's just like, if one person is impacted from anything that I do, I'm fine. Like, because it's really ministry for me. And like I said, I will say with this integrity is a big piece. And I was, talking to my friends about it. Like, we can get so caught up on ourselves because God is using us a vessel. We think it really is us. And you have to separate that. Like, he's using me. I would be nothing without it.
How do you separate?
And I pray, and like you said, I just make sure I remain humble, because if he wouldn't have gave me these gifts, I wouldn't have anything.
That's a fact.
He gave this to me, so I had to be humble. So it's just little things like that. But you can't get up like, God, you seen me as enough to use me as a vessel to do these things or change these people's life. You know what I'm saying? But it's still never about us.
Right. It's never about us. And I think the more we walk in that space, right? I think that's the same thing with me with the kids. I'm always, how is this going to benefit the children and the community? And as long as I stay in that vein, my decision making is a lot easier. But to your point, now I've been a whole lot. It's making more sense for me to fall back. Like today, I had a woman who really wants to work with me. I never say for me, but work with me. And the whole time I kept saying, let me talk to God. Like in my mind, it seems like everything is great. It seems like she fits all the pieces, right? But to be able to stop, and she's older than me, so I feel empowered to even be able to say that. Hold tight, Grandma.
You know what? You got me cracking up. I'm
like, but in all honesty, let's hold tight and let's function in the spirit of God, because I need to hold myself to a standard so that the people under me or the people who work with me knows who I serve, right? And then when I make decisions, they know it's not just coming from me, and that holds my integrity to them, right? They can see me doing all the work all day, and that's great, but they don't see me doing it in the essence of God, right? And as a godly woman, a godlypreneur woman, then that place can run amok. And I just don't want things to be all over the place. All right, let me get to my next question. Are you excited?
Yes.
This is listen, I love what you're doing. I can't wait to come to the CEO. Are the tickets sold out?
They almost are, girl.
Oh God, I gotta get a ticket. All right. Do you think that women are held to a different standard when it comes to being ethical in business?
I think so. It's like, what you think?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This one was a difficult one. I know I come up with these ideas, and God gives them to me. And I've been studying my own notes and really going over these questions myself. And I'm like, I'm going to say yes, only because I think that, and I could be wrong, it's not me being sexist, but I think men get a pass.
Oh, for sure.
I think they get a pass, especially in business. Today, I was called a bully, right? I had to stand my ground.
Not a bully.
He called me a bully, and I said, all because, now get the tea, all because I was standing my all because I was standing my ground. Like, I had to go back and read the text message and say, where did I do anything that said, when did I do that? I didn't do that.
You're standing on business.
I stood on big business, and I stood on integrity. These are the principles. I want to know who's coming in my facility. I'm asking too many questions. I want to know, yes, I want to know what percentage you want of this investment piece that you want to do. I'm asking too many questions. So as I'm asking these questions that any other man could ask, now I'm a bully. I'm not going to say that my feelings were hurt.
I think we're taken advantage of, though. We are. So now that they call us alpha women.
Right, for sure.
But now that I'm standing on business and you can't get over on me, now it's a problem. But if I would have just let you go with anything, you would have did me over. Integrity.
There we go. And then it will come back to my integrity.
So now I'm going to stand on business.
I have to. So I'm asking, do you think we're treated differently? I think
yes. For sure.
Absolutely. And I think it's unfair. But how do we do away with that? Like, what do we do? Do we keep operating in the spirit and keep being called out? Or what do we do? How do we work that thing?
I think that you can still come with that boldness of God, and you will know, like people, if you let them play with you, they're going to play with you.
Absolutely.
So, but I still feel like you still have to be a representation of Christ, but I'm also, you're not going to play with me.
And I think because I am a woman, I try to be a woman of integrity. I am going to go back to God. I am going to circle back. And this we're going to do it one better. I'm going to do it one better for him. Well, more so for me. Because I want to reflect on all things, right? I'm not saying I can please everyone, but I do want to make sure that I'm standing on business and integrity, right?
Mhm.
So I'm going to go back. I am going to pray. And I'm going to ask God to show me me. Because I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying, where could I have had a better outcome? Even if it's just in a dialogue. Maybe it's nothing more that I could do.
And text can be misinterpreted.
And
too.
text could be misinterpreted. But God may want me to say, just leave it alone, let him feel how he feels and keep it moving. But I still want to always show me. That's the level that I'm at right now. My pastor said, we quick to get into prayer and start talking about other people, right? But then we don't want to hear when God tell us about ourselves. And lately, he been telling me a lot about.
Yeah, he hilarious when he tell you about
Ooh,
yourself.
and you be a little.
I be like I'm a jokester too, sir. What's that? But I love that though, because I know that you love me and you want the best for me. So tell me about myself.
Tell me about myself. I think to your point earlier, though, we don't want to hear it sometimes until we get into a certain type of a relationship with him, right? And so now in the morning, I'm hearing him constantly cut me off. Even if I'm praying for something good, he come back and be like, "But what about you?" And it's such and such that you need to get like, because even if we talk about some bad things, he'll also come back to you and tell you some good things. Like, don't forget to pray for yourself. You gotta need to go back in there and pray for that. Stop worrying. Sometimes you're worrying about everybody else, but you gotta pray for yourself as well. Like you have a need that you are letting go unmet because you're so busy worrying about everybody else. But in this particular situation, and like I have been doing with most, I am gonna go back and say, Lord, show me me. But as long as I still feel like I didn't compromise who he is, because one of the things with that personal situation was they wanted me to start doing my business and talking more about chakras and things like that. And I'm not there. I'm absolutely not there. I'm absolutely away from all of those type of things, right? Deities and things like that. That's just not where I want to go. And so even if that's a slither of that person's business, I don't want parts of it. Because I'm not going to ask you to change your way, and I dare not. Don't ask me to change mine, because I know who I serve, and I've given my business back over to God. And so I promised him I would never take that away and serve anything else. And so for me to go that direction, because the projections are millions. Listen, if you come over here on this side, we can get you to make millions. That's a hard one to turn away from, and I did. My integrity went.
Because if my soul is, I'm good.
He gonna take care of me. And again, if you offer me millions, then what else is on the table behind that? Because my father has the big picture at the end of the day. So yeah, I was proud of myself. I didn't like getting called names. I thought that was a little rude, but neither here nor there. So I think that integrity and men and women, have a real strong place. And I think it's a huge dichotomy, meaning that on one end, they get a pass. On the other end, we get held to this standard that's almost impossible to measure up to. But to your point, we just keep standing on business, on God's business. Because that's what's going to make him proud. That's what's going to make him proud. All right. Have you ever been tempted? Ooh, here go a good one. To cut corners to get ahead?
I could say honestly, I don't think I ever have. Like I said, I may look at things, but I don't think I ever want to take corners, because it's like it's just a different type, like you said, of character that comes from you having to really get in the mud and get it.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Ooh. So if I cut corners, what can I tell people? Oh,
ooh,
he dropped it in my hand because I asked for it. But do I know how to handle my clients? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's somebody that, you know what I'm saying, may mishandle me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just think it's a lot of stuff that you just can't learn by taking shortcuts.
So that's a good point. So let me ask you this. We got a scenario here. Just popped up in my head. You're going into business, and this person, we don't know if they're saved or not saved, but they drop $1 million on you to invest in, right? let's just say we don't know what they are. We don't know what their Christian, what their background is, right? Do you take it to get your business going, or do you say no? I want to continue to get it out the mud and learn and grow and do all of those things.
Honestly, I'm gonna get it out the mud, and I just had to deal with this the other day. Like, I'm being stretched. Like, God is really elevating me fast. So now I don't want to get to a burnout phase.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm getting the help I need. It would,
Mhm.
and so I was like, let me hire a virtual assistant, all these things to take this load off of me. So before anything, I mean, I seen great reviews from the girl. So it speaks for itself, your reviews. But I asked, do you have a relationship with God? Because this is a faith-based business. It's not just no business, it's faith-based.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that because she's gotten people results and I've seen the results. So I could have easily said, like, let me get into this.
Yeah.
And so the one girl, she was kind of sketchy. So I went back and looked at my email. She was like, are you there? Oh, I'm not. And I nicely, and I let it be known in a professional perspective. So then another girl came, but she was unsure. I'm sure about God. So I don't need you being unsure.
I can't have you unsure.
So another girl came and I was like, hey, how are you? I'm the owner of MTA Designs or whatever. And she was like, hey, how are you or whatever. And we had a good conversation. I could tell by the interactions we had. I was like, are you a Christian? This is a faith-based business. She said, oh, baby, my middle name is Esther.
Oh.
She was like, oh, I'm God-fearing. Like she came with it. She was like, yeah, I don't play that.
Now, did she have less reviews than the other people?
She had about the same, but she was also younger. But I'm just like, I remember the younger me wanting to change. So it was just so many reasons, but that put the icing on it. Like, yes, ma'am, I need somebody like you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, I can't do it. Like, I'm sure about him. And I don't need somebody handling my baby that I birthed and drop it.
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying?
So they give you, they come to you with, in your case, it wasn't $1 million, but they came with maybe.
They can get me the millions.
Okay. And you said, nah, I'd rather go with someone. But she still was comparable though. So because you kind of said, you know what, I'm not going to jump on the first one. I'm not going to jump on the second one. I'm going to jump. The third one happened to be the one.
But we'd be so quick to get into something because it looked good though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, the $1 million look good. But like you said, what is it going to cost me? This look good, or could I take this journey of not taking shortcuts, and it may take me 3 or 4 years to get there, but I can sustain that $1 million.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it could come into somebody investing something, and then they be done took half of it back. You know what I'm saying? People got their motives. That's why they connecting with you. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it still come down to discerning. And like I said, I'd rather do something to take longer, and I still have it,
and create the longevity and sustainability too.
Come on.
Okay. All right. So you ain't taking it. That if it comes to you now, you're gonna get it out the mud.
Get it out the mud. You get it out the mud.
I think I'm gonna get it out the. You know what? I think my answer is it depends, and this is what I mean. I think it depends on where I am in my business and where I am in my spirituality, because I think that also there are people who can be led. And
okay,
you get what I'm now again, it depends on where I am in this business and where I am in my spirituality. If I was last year in my spirituality, I think it would be a little easier because I was vulnerable. Mentally, I was kind of checked out. So I think it would be easier for their way to go forward than my way. But in this season, I think it's easier for me to say, oh no, and I could minister to that person. But if they had like a major hand in certain parts of my business, I would have to say no, because that would give them too much controlling power, and I couldn't have that. I think that now that I'm in school to be a minister, I think I'm a little, and it ain't even because I'm in school to be a minister, but it is kind of part of what we're going to school to be, is to be those people that can go out there and bring people back to salvation. So right now I'm working with a gentleman who with the horse stables. He's not Christian. And he told me straight up, I'm not a Christian person. No, he said, what did he say? He said, I'm not a very spiritual person. I said, I am. So everything I do, I say something, and not on purpose, not just to try to move them, but because that's who I am. My desire and my goal and what I pray is that.
But everybody's not going to be a Christian that we encounter.
No.
But that don't mean that we can't talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. And so I think, and in this, just because the way it all played out, I almost feel like whatever he's going to do for me, I'm going to turn around and do something for him as well. I think it's going to be some reciprocity. I think he's going to show me a lot in business that is a world I didn't know about as far as how his mind goes. But I think for me, I'm going to show him what faith looks like.
And my thing is, if your fruit is fruiting, you just got to do what God told you to do. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm telling you,
I done seen people life be transformed just by you doing what God done told you
this
to do.
is what I'm saying. I think in this particular, not even I think, because this fell on me so like 1, 2, 3, and I was like, God literally told me in the shower, you're going to have a horse by September. Now, remember, he don't always tell you the how. He didn't necessarily say, I'm going to put a horse in your backyard by September. He just said, you'll have horses by September. When I went to meet the man 2 days later, I said, when do you want to start this endeavor? He said, September. I said, okay. I prayed that Saturday. I went to church that Sunday. Certain things happened in church that Sunday. Like all the signs that lined up to it, in addition to my prayer, all kind of fell into place. And so I'm not afraid of it this time because my faith is so strong. But when he said that, I also was strong in saying, well, I am. He said, I'm not really a spiritual guy. I said, well, I am. And in my mind, I'm like, and soon you will be too. Because it is our job too to go forth, right? And to bring people back into the kingdom. And so this will be my first time actually doing that by my actions, not by beating them over the head with the Bible, right? But just by my actions. And like you said, let my fruit start fruiting. Because I mean, listen, he could have said a lot of things could have happened, but the way he opened up to me unsight, unseen, it's like he knew something, or it was God ordained. So we'll see how it pans out in a month or 2 or 3 or 5 or whatever. But I think in answer to your question, it really just depends on where we are in our faith and and what the person has, the hand that they're going to have in our business. In your case, they're going to have their hands all the way up in your business. I can't have you not being a Christian. I just can't. I get where you're coming from with that. I just couldn't.
She said I just couldn't.
No, I just couldn't. Like if it's my finances and stuff like that, or somebody handling like my books, you got to be a Christian person. My marketing, you got to be, because what you're putting out to the world, it's got to have that feeling. It's got to have that Christian spirit. You got to have that spirit of faith on it, so that when you put it out, the people understand, oh, I could feel that. I could feel God all over that, right? And we be surprised sometimes. You look at websites. My mother can look at logos and be like, oh no, it's a spirit on that logo. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm very cautious in certain things, but in this case, you know.
That's good. So I get your perspective now.
It's a perspective. Now we'll see how it pans out.
You
God, don't make me a lie. So this is one of the things that I kind of pulled out when I was in prayer times. It says sometimes we don't lose opportunity, we dodge spiritual bullets. Favor will never ask you to sell your soul. And that's very important, because we say favor ain't fair. I say it all the time. But fair does not mean that you have to go out there and do the most, right, to get it, right? Favor will bestow itself on you in due season. So how do you feel about that statement? I'm going to read it again. Sometimes we don't lose opportunities, we dodge spiritual bullets. That one right there.
I think I agree with that. And I just don't lean onto my own understanding no more. It's just like, hey, if this didn't work out, you got better for me. Hey, this partnership went bad. That ain't what you have for me. Hey, I'm not doing business with you no more. That ain't what you have for me. And I'm okay with it because I know who he is to me. And he not going to put me on a path that's not for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my thing is, I agree. It's a dodge bullet. And thank you.
Yeah,
that's all I can say is thank you. Thank you, Lord.
But sometimes we do get in our own way and we get frustrated. And that's just being real, right? I think though the more mature we get in our spirituality, the more we fall back and we can say thank you. But in the beginning, in an immature stage, we do look at it and say, because we love to put stuff on the devil. That's been the trend. Like, and I've been hearing a lot of ministers and a lot of ministerial memes and stuff coming across saying we love putting stuff on the devil, but sometimes it's not. It's really God saying that was not for you. Listen, Job went through all the stuff he went through because God said do it. He told the devil to do it. We give him too much power.
Come on.
We give them way too much power.
And can I be honest? Sometimes it ain't neither one of it. It's us.
I just heard that the other day.
Sometimes it's us. We want stuff so bad. He'll allow us to have it. To see,
Shut
is this what you really wanted, baby? Because is this what you wanted? Don't hand it back to me. Yeah. This what you wanted.
That's what you wanted. That is so true. Because we are his favorite, right? He loves us so much that sometimes, just enough that it's not gonna kill us, but he will give.
It's gonna put that heat under your butt, though.
And all you're gonna do is come running right back with your tail between your legs. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry.
You wanted this, so I'm gonna let you have it.
No,
You wanted
really.
it, so them hands was out.
A lot.
He
of
should have
people-
popped them hands.
A lot of people fall into relationships like that.
Come
You
on.
wanted him so bad, didn't you?
Come on.
I had Mr. Fubu sitting over here. You ain't want Mr. Fubu. You ain't
Now
want
you
Mr.
crying.
Now you crying because Mr. Balenciaga did you wrong. But I told you, you could get Mr. Fubu together.
You know,
He's a God-fearing, he's a good man, Savannah.
it look good. So I'm gonna put that fire under your butt.
Yup, and now look at you looking stupid and
Over
crazy.
there singing Keisha Cole.
That's crazy. Or not gonna cry. Oh, let me ask you this. This is a good question. This is a real good one. Ooh. How does faith play out in your business? It's probably an easy one, but I love the conversation of faith.
Like, my thing is, I feel like with all my businesses, like I said, he's my business partner. So anything that I'm displaying that is successful, it's because of him. That's my faith. Like, that's my blueprint, is him. And I had made that on one of my posts. I was like, that's my business partner. That's my strategist. That's my accountant. Anything, you need him to be. But I really feel like my faith is displayed through literally every business thing that I'm doing. Because like I said, I am asking him before I do certain things. Because sometimes we can't step out and be in our flesh.
Okay.
So
now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the things unseen. So what have you hoped for and unseen and had to really lean into and say, God, you got me?
That was my thing. Like, even with me, like, for instance, like you said, turning down deals, right? I know that could have changed my life or even paid for something. You know what I'm saying? I'm a mom out here. I need stuff done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I trust that you got it.
There we go.
And I don't woke up with stuff that I turned down triple with that.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
This is what I want to hear. Tell a story to the people, because we need people to know that this is what this whole entrepreneurial journey is about. It's not like we can make it look cute. We can come on here and be cute and set up.
And I was literally like, I'm in a place now. Like, I was literally saying this month was my lowest paying month from my business, but I wanted to reset with God and see what he had me to do in this next season. And I don't care about a bag because he's going to provide that for me. He is the bag.
That's faith.
And like I said, I got resources and I'm thankful for all my clients, but he's the source for them to even come to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what faith looked like to me. Like, I still got things coming up, Lord. I got bills. I got a car payment. I got all these things, but you're going to provide for me. And you do every time.
But is money the only thing that faith can bestow? Like you mentioned, I got clients, I got this. What about the connections that he bring in the place of the money?
And that too, like, it's times that I connect with people and my purpose was just to pray for them. And they don't book with me instantly. It's some people like that I have never seen. I got clients in Florida. She always tell me, like, she was like, Mo, you encourage me so much. Like, never met before. And at one point, like, she didn't buy nothing from me for a whole year, but God told me to stay there. And now this year, she was one of my sponsors. But if I would have looked into something like, oh, I just want you to be a client.
Right.
Or I just want you to do this. Like, no, you used me in that point to be a vessel because that was something that she needed. So that's why I said that money to me, that's materialistic, baby. But if I can come be a vessel to where I can pray for you We don't know where people's mental is.
We don't.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm thankful for that connection. Even if somebody referred me for something and then they came and didn't book, it's okay. Because it's bigger than this. It's bigger than this ministry for real. Business is ministry.
You don't know that when you came and we did our barter or whatever, because people don't like doing that anymore, right? Because they want to see the monetary. But when we bartered, right, and you were able to say, listen, I can work on your website for you. That's the best website I've ever had. I don't have the money. I didn't have the money to pay for something that polished. The banner, I don't have the money right now to pay for something that professionally done. And so to me, because of the connections that we've made, I was able to get something. And part of it to me is about not just saying, okay, I got the faith and I'm gonna get the money. No, I have the faith that I'm.
But can I tell you how this tie back into integrity though? Because even though I was pouring out for that brunch, you didn't have to come help me. That was a vision God gave me. He didn't give you that, but you believe in what I'm carrying, and I believe in what you're carrying. Amen. So that don't mean just because in the moment you don't have it, I can't help you. You help me, right?
And that's what you said.
And that's how we scratch each other back.
But a lot of people don't see. Now let's go back to, like you said, integrity. People don't, and I didn't do it for that. I literally, God told me volunteer in this season. Right. And I saw you posted something and it drove me to you. I said, I need to volunteer for this event. Right. It wasn't a paid event. It was a free event. So I could have just showed up. God told me to humble myself and go do that. And I was poured out a blessing. But when I was obedient, right. Because in my mind, I'm like, you just don't be feel it was a Saturday morning, but God told me to do it. And once I got myself up and got ready, I started feeling good. Like I'm about to do something for somebody else. And man, just being in that room, but to that point later on, you were thankful, right? And then something else happened. He was like, girl, I got you. And it just kept being that. And I'm like, you just don't see people like that anymore, where they just kind of honor and reverence something that you've done. And totally wasn't doing it for that reason. I was doing it.
And I done had people that come help me, but like we said, we got to discern your integrity. And like you said, your fruit is going to speak for itself. I done had people to get to me just to be connected to get resources. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you have to discern, because like I said, but when I met you, that wasn't the case. It's just like, no, you really want to come help. And then you was like, hit me up, seeing if I needed anything and being like attentive to a vision God gave me. Like I said, so you didn't have to do that. You could have been anywhere else. You got your own stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful for that. And I don't, take anything like that lightly. So it's just like, okay, I understand. We done all been in that place. So I'm going to help you. Amen. But it's also because your integrity spoke for itself. You know what I'm saying? That's all we got for real.
Listen, that is all we got. And we don't realize
even if you get something right, I guarantee you, if you get something right 30 times, somebody's still going to remember that one time you didn't get it right and you weren't honest.
Girl, and that's the truth. That's the truth. That's why, they say all you have in this world is your word. And I believe that, and I try to stick to that. That's why I think this last conversation kind of bothered me with that gentleman. I keep bringing it back because I'm like, really? Me? Like, you can call me off.
You ain't going to take me back to a place I done got.
But you're not going to take me back to a place because I had to keep going back and reading it, which is why I'm going to get before God, because I still want to make sure that I'm on the right trajectory to represent myself as a woman of God, a woman in faith and business, because the last thing I want, and not that he even matters, but it matters to God.
Come on.
If I did something out of line and out of place.
You don't want to offend nobody either. You know what I'm saying?
And not on purpose.
Right.
Now, if you take offense to something I did with integrity,
you take that.
That's a you problem.
Right.
And I just want to check the beat and make sure it's not a me and it's a him.
But that's good that you're taking accountability. Like, absolutely. Even though you're saying this is still business, I still want to make sure that I'm not presenting in a light that's not me.
I'm not, and not even me, not of God. Because I have to be a mirror and a reflection. And so even I was sending a text message today to a parent, and the Holy Spirit made me just delete it out, because sometimes you do want to just get right and just be like, but everyone doesn't know. It's not everybody's situation to know what I do on the back end, what my struggles is, what they just know what they know. And so my response, my cousin always say this lately, my response is yes and amen. My response is amen, so be it. And then if I have to come back and revisit that conversation later, I will, because to your point, text messages come off ugly, right? They don't always come off with integrity. And so just making sure that even in that, if my response, if I feel emotion behind it, that's not of peace and of integrity, I just back that message out and just wait a little bit. And that's just another level of spiritual maturity. And I think ultimately that's what integrity is a level of spiritual maturity at the end of the day.
Because God be like, delete it. But you sure I can't post it?
Because why I can't be just a little petty?
Look.
No, not petty little just a little bit. But no, because he wants better for us. I seen somebody post something the other day and she was like, man, I be wanting to say something, but I'm a woman. I think she said I'm a woman of integrity or a businesswoman of integrity. And I just giggle. And I wanted to even reshare that. And God was like, no, you got the giggle. You ha-ha'd it.
That's
You
enough.
did
Look.
it.
But why? But that's literally maturity, though.
It's maturity. And I'm thankful for that space. I'm thankful that you're there already to kind of show your generation, because I'm almost.
It's hard for real.
Yes, that's why when I see you, I be blown away sometimes. Because I'm like, she is so young and so on fire for God, but you in a powerful ministry though. Shout out your church.
The Reach Church. I love my church.
Y'all, listen, if I did not join my church, let me shout out United Nations of Charlotte. Hello. If I had not joined United Nations, I was going to take the drive out to you guys. You were like it was really about, it was a toss up. And I even watched your bishop.
Apostle, yeah.
I watch your apostle from time to time. When you tag me and stuff, it'd be meaty. So I know that you're under, good covering. Yeah. So I appreciate that because I can see the move just through the videos that he posts or the things that you do and how inspired you are to get up and be like, I'm going to serve. Oh, I got to go such and such with my church. And you just don't see people in your generation wanting to do that. So they're doing a phenomenal job. My church has given me a lot of covering and leadership, and that's kind of also where my integrity is coming from, because she's a do what you say type of a person. If that's what you say you're gonna do it. And she will call me like, sis, you coming to Bible study? I got to be at Bible study on Wednesday because I overslept, didn't make it to church yesterday. But I feel like I have somebody that's checking me. I got accountability to my church.
And I think that accountability is good. And that's why I just like integrity is so much, because like I said, as well as you, like you saying you flourish and it just done took off, we can like I've been saying it, we can mishandle influence. Your integrity is everything. So if your integrity bad, where are you leading these people to?
What you say? I can mishandle what?
You can mishandle your influence.
That's crazy. How? Tell me how.
I feel like, see me like before, I came to Christ, I was loud for the devil.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? And I had a whole crew of them. And they start falling off, like I said, after I start going hard. Like, I got my circle that I rock with and I talk to, every day. But it's just like, just to see how I mishandled influence and I could have bought them to God. That's why I said, I'm going to be loud about them now. And I'm going to serve young. And you can be dope and serve God.
Wow, you can be phenomenal. Let me tell you something. I think that's what we forget. And I think that's what the beauty of some of these newer churches. Now, it's a fine line. Because some of us being a little too dope.
You look.
You like,
I'm not wearing no grandma skirt now.
Now that I ain't. We be fly at church now. But I do, think there's becoming a fine line. But look, I'm tatted up and I don't feel any way about it. I don't feel like
you can't say God can't use me because I'm tatted up or because I'm dressed this way. Okay, keep being fooled by that.
This is my outside. Look. This is my outside. I don't know what you're doing on the inside.
Look.
I don't know what you do. Mine all on display. I don't know what you're doing over there. But no, I don't make no qualms, and I love that I'm not judged for that because I still pray in the spirit. I still make sure I pray daily. I listen to my gospel. It's just a spirit that I can feel when I'm in places and I'm like, ooh, this is not me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is not me no more. There's restrictions. I went to Charleston last weekend and I was telling my brother, I didn't drink. I ain't smoke. I like anything that I would have used to do to make you think your trip was lit. And I had the best fun.
Look, he's my high. Okay.
What?
Look,
and
I love it.
I love it. And he's a Christian. I mean, at one point, we didn't play and it wasn't like a holy roller trip. We wasn't listening to gospel all our way there. But we just talked. We ate good food. We went to go sightsee. We did all those things, but not one time did I feel like the trip was a dub because we didn't set it off and go spark and go drink we didn't go hang out in no clubs. We did none of that. It was peaceful, and I still came home feeling like I had a good time. And that's really another level. I know I digress. That has nothing to do with integrity, but I guess it kind of does. Just not integrity in business, just integrity in my life.
Period.
Yeah, I'm living who
but
I
that's
say
still,
I am.
but you still walking that walk, and it's not just I'm doing this because I'm being, what you say, what you tell them kids? What you doing when ain't nobody watching?
What you doing when, listen, and
You look,
right. Oh, so you on
lighting
the
up a
trend.
joint. Look.
Oh, Miss Lady, isn't that interesting? Okay, let me get to this. Here's one. I'm gonna say this quick. This is probably gonna be our last one. Do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome as a woman? You know what imposter syndrome is, right? Okay. Do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome as a woman who's doing things the right way? That's a tricky one.
What's your response first?
I know, right? Imposter syndrome. So that is when you think when you think that something's telling you that you're not who you are. Yeah, I do, because I'll tell you why. When you think about your past, sometimes that's where imposter syndrome could kind of creep up, and it could be like, well, in the past you would have did that. And so I think sometimes it does creep up. So it says, I'm going to read the question one more time. It says, do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome as a woman who's doing things the right way? Yeah. And you know what? It's other people who tell me and put it on me to make me think, dang.
And that's still an integrity thing. You're not going to pull me back to something that does not align with God.
But sometimes,
and have me questioning it.
But
when I know I'm in the
question. But sometimes I question. And it be the people closest to me.
Come on now.
Because they know you. They know you real well, right? And that's the devil using them. I do know that much. That's the devil using them. But they'll come in and say, well, remember you used to do that? Or here's the thing, man, you could get that money. You could get to it. Man, we got to go get that. And I'm like, no, I don't want, like right now I have this Medicaid billing. I won't do anything shady when it come down to this Medicaid. You're not going to have me I wear this orange. I'm not wearing no orange.
No shackles.
But I know there's been things I've done before in business where I probably would have took something off to the side or not put something into the account. I will say I've done that. And it has been brought back up to me that, oh, but you would have did that. And that's the old me. And I said, but I'm not her anymore. And that's where my integrity has to pop in, where I have to say, but I'm not her anymore. And you can keep me to that stand. I don't care if it was 6 months ago, which it wasn't. I've been redeemed longer than that. But even if it was 6 months ago, you ain't gonna bring her back up. And so at a moment, in a glance, I will be like, and then I quickly go back to
But you don't help me because when I always think of imposter syndrome, I'm like, why don't I want to do that? But it is our past.
It's our past.
And sometimes we feel like we're unworthy. No, I can do all these things.
Exactly.
Through Christ. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so my thing is, and I totally agree with that. And I've never looked at it from that perspective of like, oh, it's your past. That's why you think you're incapable.
That's
yes,
exactly
I can.
what it is. Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Either other people do it, you do it yourself, and you think about what you used to do, or you think I'm not good enough because of who I used to be. I shouldn't be on this stage because I used to be a stripper.
Can I do that? Can I actually really do that?
Or can I actually really do that? Because I'm just a girl. I'm from Buffalo. I'm just a girl from Buffalo, New York. I ain't got no business owning no school. I don't have no business talk about I want to do TED Talks. Yes, I do. Why not? And so that's imposter syndrome setting in, trying to tell me what I shouldn't do. And it's reflective, I think, of who we are and where we're going when we turn back and say, oh, but yes, I can, because like you said, I can do all things through Christ. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So when I was in the world, yeah, I did things, but now imagine what I can do with him in my pocket, right?
Come on,
or him in my heart. So, but I do think that in a moment, I do have those moments where I reflect and I say, no, I can't.
And I feel like that's like, I have that feeling. I know God to give me these things. Like even with CEO, I really don't breathe until it's over.
I get that.
And I'm just like, but why you don't feel like you're capable of handling what he gave you? You can carry this. He gave it to you.
And I think that's why you don't like to get put in the front when people call you to the front. And so I want to tell you this: when you have these events, stand in the front. It does not take away from your humility to not be seen as the person who did this. Because I was like that up until recently. When people say, oh, you did a great job at the event, I'd be like, no, it was my team. And my friend had to stop me one day and say, no, it was you. And you brought the team together. And it's hard for us to say that sometimes. Maybe someone told us, you think you all of that or whatever. But guess what? No, I think I'm who God told me I am. I think I am part of this assignment. And because of that, I've been graced to do this thing. So make sure as CEO, you stand at the front. At some point, you're going to look good. The face going to be big.
I mean, no, but I'm just cool with being the visionary. And just like I said, if one person is impacted, I did my job.
I get that, but God wants us to be seen in that light as well. There's a thin line.
It is
between being in the back, because I'm like that too. Like I roll up my sleeves, but lately people have been saying, "You're the owner," and one
big
big one. On one end, I'll be like, "Oh, that's a compliment," because I'm so busy doing the work they don't know. But on the other end, God has been tapping me on my shoulder, saying, "No, you need to start stepping it up a little bit. You need to be seen as who you are." And my mother used to say that all the time. Go get you a blazer or two and stand in that front and be Miss Principal, because you're not just, you are the. It's a difference.
Come on now.
I'm not just. You're not just.
Look.
Well, let's go on and wrap it up. Tell us a little bit about the CEO event. I broke my bracelet. Tell us about the event and if there's tickets left, how they can get tickets. Do all the things.
Okay, so like I said, I have CEO coming up October 4th. It'll be in China Grove at the 320 North building. We have about 5 tickets left, and we have some phenomenal goats coming in to pour into these ladies. And so that's my goal, and all my info is on my page, which is Monifa Angle on Facebook. But yeah, I just want the ladies to be poured into, and that's my goal. So it's going down October 4th.
And all your businesses are, tell me what you do again, what businesses you have.
So I have my own branding agency. My son has a party rental business, but of course it's my business. Look.
We understand.
And then CEO, I'm kind of branding this. I really want this to be something big. And then like by December, I'll be opening up a CEO Academy to where people will actually be graduating from a women-based entrepreneurial school. So.
Oh, wow. That's dope. Like I said, that's Monifa. I love her. She does all my branding stuff. My website's phenomenal. I am your girl, T. Marie. I am the founder and head of school of Kingdom Kids Empowerment Academy. I am the CEO and founder of Impact Child Behavioral Services. And I am the CEO of Soul Stables coming at you in September of 2025. Listen, we're just doing work the godly way. We're doing work for us, by us. We're doing work. This is what entrepreneurship looks like. Until next week, y'all, we'll holler at y'all.